Listen, I'm going to tell you something, and I need you to actually hear it. We're all fed this story, this fantasy about meet-cutes and airport chases, about finding our other half to feel complete. It's painted as the whole point of life. But what if that story is a lie? Or at least an outdated map for a world that doesn't exist anymore? Let me ask you something. In a world with a million ways to connect, why are there more single people than ever? And I don't mean for a few months. I mean for years, decades. You see successful people, good people, just sitting alone. And this isn't a story about being lonely or some kind of personal failure. This is about a quiet, logical revolution. It's about massive hidden forces that are completely changing the game. Today we're looking at the real reasons people are staying single for the long haul, and why it's not a problem to be solved, but a rational choice that needs to be understood. For generations there was a blueprint. It was simple. Get a job, get married, buy a house, have kids. A straight line, a checklist. But that blueprint is crumbling. Why? Because the deal doesn't make sense anymore. The math just doesn't work. You look at the numbers in the US today, about a quarter of adults between 35 and 44 have never been married. That's a huge jump, and it's not happening by accident. The old script promised stability, but that stability came at a cost. The new world offers you a chance to write your own script, and for millions of people, that script doesn't have a co-star penciled in from the start. It's a choice, and it's driven by a completely new value system. At the center of all this is the rise of the individual. Society used to be about the group, the family, the community. Now, it's about you. It's a world that tells you to find your passion, build your career, and invest in yourself. Marriage and family, which used to be seen as the foundation of your life, are now seen by many as a capstone project you might get to later, if at all. For a lot of people, they look like a constraint on their independence. This isn't just selfishness, it's a cost-benefit analysis. The main goal for younger generations is personal development and career building. The question is no longer, who am I going to end up with? It's, who do I need to become to survive and thrive on my own? This changes everything. It reframes being single from a state of lacking something to a period of intense personal investment. It's a legitimate lifestyle, not a holding pattern. And honestly, people who embrace it are often building stronger friendships and richer social lives. Now look around any big city. What do you see? The architecture of being single. Micro apartments, co-living spaces. The modern city is built for one. And it has to be, because cities are brutally expensive. The high cost of housing forces people into smaller households. It's just simple economics. In a lot of major European cities, in places like Germany, single-person households are the most common type, hitting over 40% in some areas. The projections say this is only going to increase globally. But it's not just the money. Cities give you anonymity. They give you a massive network of social options that have nothing to do with family. You can build a whole community based on what you're into. This environment makes living alone not just possible, but for a lot of people, fulfilling. It's a ready-made ecosystem where the single life can just work. Here's the thing nobody wants to admit though. The most powerful force blowing up the old relationship model is the economic independence of women. For most of history, marriage wasn't about romance. For many women, it was an economic necessity. That is simply no longer true. Women have more access to education and are a massive part of the workforce. They have a level of financial freedom that their grandmothers couldn't even dream of. They can be their own providers, buy their own homes. In fact, in the US, single women are now buying more homes than single men are. This has completely changed the dating market. The old advice to marry a rich man is dead. Women can be the rich man. This gives them the freedom to be incredibly selective. They can prioritize their own careers and refuse to settle for a relationship that isn't a true equal partnership. The economic equation has been rewritten, and when you rewrite the economics, the social necessity just fades away. If any of this is starting to make sense to you, hit that subscribe button. I'm genuinely curious. What do you think is the single biggest factor driving all this? Let me know in the comments. Then there's technology. We carry our social lives in our pockets, and it's a double-edged sword. On one hand, your phone can make being single feel less isolated. You can maintain a strong social network without ever leaving your house. This networked individualism can feel like a substitute for the companionship a partner used to provide. But on the other hand, you have the dating apps. It's like a casino where the house always wins. They present you with a bottomless carousel of options. This creates a paradox of choice. It's overwhelming. You get decision fatigue. There's this nagging feeling that someone better is just one more swipe away. It creates a culture where connections are disposable. Why work through a tough spot with someone when you can just pull the slot machine lever again? Instead of helping people find long-term partners, for many, these apps have just normalized being perpetually single. Remember the pressure? The endless questions at family gatherings? Are you seeing anyone? When are you going to settle down? For generations, that social pressure was real, and it worked. Today, that pressure cooker is off. Surveys show that most single people, especially as they get older, don't feel any real pressure from their families or friends to find someone. 2/3 of single Americans say their family doesn't push them to get married. This is a huge cultural shift. As more people stay single for longer, it becomes more common, more visible. The stigma that used to be attached to it is disappearing. Society is slowly being forced to accept that a person's value isn't tied to their relationship status. A happy life doesn't require a +1. This gives people the room to live their lives authentically, without having to pretend they want an outdated ideal. Ultimately, what we're seeing isn't just a rise in single people. It's a complete redefinition of what a successful life is supposed to look like. The old model was rigid. The new one is fluid and personal. The focus is shifting from finding the one to building a network of ones. Deep friendships, close communities, chosen family, these things are taking on a new level of importance. Some research even suggests that single people often have more diverse and richer social lives than married people, because they have to actively work to build and maintain those relationships. This doesn't mean romantic love is dead. It's not. But the desperation to find it is being replaced by an intention to build a fulfilling life, whether a partner is part of that picture or not. People are realizing that a partner should add to your life, not complete it. The goal isn't to be one half of a whole anymore. The goal is to be whole on your own. The rise of long-term singlehood isn't a sign that society is falling apart. It is the logical, rational outcome of some of the biggest positive changes of the last century. Female empowerment, the freedom of the individual, and a culture that is slowly, finally, starting to value personal fulfillment over rigid tradition. Staying single for years is no longer the waiting room for your life to start. For more and more people, it is the main event. It's a valid, complex, and deeply rewarding way to live. The story of your life is yours to write, and for the first time, there are more valid chapters to choose from than ever before. The ultimate quest isn't to find the one, but to build a life that is true to the one person you're guaranteed to be with forever, yourself.